You know what I don't get about people who went to the veneer tech? They knew he wasn't licensed. He said he never said he was a dentist. He said he was a veneer technician, which he learned how to glue teeth on top of teeth and shave them down and make them look good, right? And he charged about $3,000. But then if you didn't fix the problem on the inside first before you get veneers, your teeth are still just rotting in your mouth.
Welcome to the Common Sense Philosophy channel. Today's video is Brandon Dillard, veneer specialist or tooth demolition. Brandon Dillard, veneer specialist or tooth demolition. Oh man, I know you guys have heard about this. Young man, clearly very talented. I want to say this before we even get started. Brandon Dillard has a lot of talent, and I'm going to stretch a little bit and say he had a little gift. He had a gift because the fact that he hadn't studied anything, he hadn't really learned. Well, let me be careful. He hadn't studied it and got the proper documents to be able to do what he needed to do, to be a licensed dentist or provider of the care he's doing is amazing because his work was really good. He just was getting in trouble for because he wasn't a dentist, he just wasn't a dentist. He wasn't a licensed professional and got himself in some trouble. But just looking at some of his work, I took the time to look at some of his work, and I'm not going to lie. I have to be honest. I was pretty impressed by the look of it. Now, when you get behind the actual work, that's where it gets a little crazy. But man, if he had learned how to be a dentist, got licensed, then he could have took it real far, because even his business side was incredible. How he set up the office, he had all the proper stuff. He had the medicine, which was crazy. He was giving people medicine, which he's not licensed for again, but he was doing everything, and he had the marketing. The business structure was incredible. Only thing got him caught up was that people's teeth was messed up under the veneers. So it said he made about $4 million. So it seemed like the guy knew what he was doing overall. He just should have learned how to be a dentist. It was kind of like this one young man that was a doctor, playing like he was a doctor, and all his clients was happy, but found out he just wasn't a doctor. You got to go get the license. You got to go get the piece of papers. Otherwise, you can end up in a RICO like this young man, Brandon Dillard. So hopefully he figures it out. Everything will be all right, and he'll work through this. I think he could have been one of the greats if he had just went and got the paperwork and got licensed. But that's a whole nother conversation, I guess, what we think about that. But thanks for coming visiting the Common Sense Philosophy channel. Like and subscribe on your way out. We're going to keep it going. We'll talk to y'all a little later, though. All right. Yep.
Because you still have cavities, unless you went to an actual dentist and made sure all your stuff was good first, right? But the ones who just put veneers on top of rotten teeth, baby, your teeth was just rotten underneath veneers, and you had that funky veneer. And that's exactly how he got caught. Soon as a licensed dentist seen his work, because people were coming in, now their mouth is hurting and they need a dentist to check these cavities. Soon as the licensed dentist seen his work, they was reporting him like, no, this man, check his walls. This man does not have a license. And this is what I don't understand. It's like a lot of things you can't go the cheap route for. Like, I own a house. I would never get Joe down the street to fix my pipes. I want a licensed plumber.
On themselves veneer techs. Brandon was one of those people, but Brandon had a problem. He got arrested because there's no such thing as a veneer tech. You have to be a dentist to put veneers on people. It's like calling yourself a nose job technician. No, you got to be a surgeon. Now, Brandon's problem is actually bigger than it may seem, because he just got all his charges and his counts. He got 110 counts. Brandon looked at his lawyer. He said, How I got 110 counts, meanwhile Sean Puff Daddy Combs only got 5. How that make sense? Brandon's lawyer said, great question, Brandon. You see, the thing about the court of law is it's not just about how many crimes you do. Those are your charges. It's about how many times you do those crimes. Those are your counts. And since you practice, no offense, on a whole bunch of people, you got a whole bunch of counts. Brandon said, okay, that makes sense.
Called himself Atlanta's top veneer specialist, was charged with felonies for practicing dentistry without a license. This man allegedly scammed patients out of $4 million. The man reportedly opened A-List Smiles Atlanta, which looked like a legitimate office with dental equipment, and allegedly led clients to believe he was a veneer tech who provided services. Furthermore, the man is also accused of providing veneer training sessions. He charged $6,000 for this course. And if you're wondering, there is no such classification as a veneer specialist or veneer tech in Georgia. I wanted to share this story because it is so important to make sure that your providers are licensed in dentistry and healthcare in general. If a veneer was simply just cosmetic, anyone could do them. It takes a skilled professional to provide these services to patients without causing harm. Here's a little video I found on Instagram. It shows a little bit of the classes he was teaching for veneer techs.
The internet to convince you not to get veneers. Let this one be it, because my teeth are so fucked up right now because I've had to get surgery twice on them, and I don't even know what. They don't even look good anymore either. And it's like, this has been, I literally look like a vampire. It's completely uneven. I don't even know what the fuck. I've just paid $30,000.
But according to Fulton County, that didn't stop him from allegedly performing millions of dollars worth of dental procedures in Atlanta. And because this is Fulton County, y'all already know they love themselves a RICO. So Brandon Dillard, who I'm calling I'm not a dentist, but is now facing 113 criminal counts, including a RICO charge. And I read the entire 65-page indictment. So let me tell you what prosecutors are alleging this man was doing. Now, before we get into the allegations, let me remind you of what it means to violate RICO. Under Georgia law, violating RICO happens when an enterprise, meaning a person or a group of people, commit certain kinds of crimes or activities in order to accomplish a shared goal that they all have. So in this case, Fulton County is alleging that Brandon Dillard, a man named Elias Monroe, who was actually a licensed dentist in Columbia, but was not licensed in Georgia, as well as 9 other unnamed individuals, all worked together to commit crimes to accomplish the group's shared goal of making money through an illegal and unlicensed dental business.
Yeah, and investigators were back out here again, pulling evidence out of A1 Smiles Atlanta. We were in court where we learned that prosecutors say that Brandon Dillard was sent a cease and desist letter from the state dental board all the way at the beginning of the year, but allegedly ignored it. And that's when the Fulton County District Attorney stepped in.
I am leaving it in no bond status based on the fact that I believe he will continue to commit these acts.
No bond for Brandon Dillard. We were there in court at the Fulton County Jail as Dillard traded the scrubs of what the Fulton County District Attorney says was his illegal dental practice for a prison jumpsuit.
I do believe he poses a risk, and risk isn't necessarily he's out there with a gun shooting people. Risk is also when you are practicing medicine or dentistry without the proper licenses, things can go horribly wrong.
Listen. Some of y'all is never going to make it to your destiny until you learn how to clap in the audience for who's on stage.
Yeah, some don't look right. Something don't look right.